Thank you so much. Thank you to the organizers for allowing me to have this opportunity to talk about nutrition misinformation. And I have to say, I agree with our first panel saying that maybe not every story about nutrition is full of misinformation, but certainly a lot of it is. And because of that, we also have a lot of nutrition pseudoscientists out there. So I'd like to start out by talking about why this might be the case and using supply and demand concepts as a reason. One is looking on the demand side, we have consumers. Consumers value their health, and they know that food provides nutrients, and they've heard a lot about how nutrients can improve their health or maintain their health. We also have firsthand experiences. All of us eat food every day, several times a day. And that in and of itself gives us an opportunity to observe how food helps us or affects us, our changing waistline, how we feel. And all of these experiences make us feel like we are experts in nutrition. And that drives us toward information sources that validate our anecdotally observed information. We also have very hectic lives. We want and need fast, easy solutions. So those magic bullet solutions that are offered by the pseudoscientists sound awfully good when you're trying to get the dinner on the table and you've got 6 screaming kids and they're really hungry. So what is being offered and who is addressing this supply? Well, we have 2 main groups. One, nutrition gurus. These are individuals who have a lot of media savvy. They really lack much in the way of nutrition background or scientific background. But you know what? The information they deliver it with style and attention-grabbing headlines. Then we also have nutrition scientists who are offering accurate information, but they usually lack the celebrity styling, and they often lack some of those skills to really communicate with consumers and help them understand the message that they're trying to get out. I think I'm getting some echo. I'll keep going. So what can we do about this? What should we do?
Turn the mic down, please.
Okay, we'll try again. All right, so what can we do? We can build nutrition knowledge base. When it comes to nutrition, even basic facts elude a lot of people. For example, the 2018 Food and Health Survey by IFIC revealed that consumers are lacking very, very simple information. Understanding something as simple as that calories from all sources can equally affect your weight. In addition to that, we not only need to teach people basic science information, basic nutrition concepts, but we also need to give them the ability to recognize the hallmarks of scientifically valid information, as well as those red flags that tell them that maybe they're being exposed to pseudoscience. All right, one of the big things that really plagues us in nutrition is the conflicting stories that come out. Oftentimes, as you know, science evolves and what we thought was true is no longer true, and we revise our recommendations because we want people to have the most accurate information and behave in that manner. Unfortunately, when consumers hear this, they think, you know, scientists, they really don't know what we should eat to be healthy. They really aren't sure about it. I'm just going to wait until they find out. There's a lot of conflicting information out there. In 2018, consumers who were surveyed, 80% of them reported that they agreed that there was a lot of conflicting information out there. Conflicting information is really problematic when you're trying to cut through it and get the accurate information out. So when conflicting information is perceived to be high, it increases confusion among consumers. It has backlash. Consumers feel backlash. They're not going to pay attention to the information that's being put out by accurate sources. They feel very skeptical toward conventional medical care and the ability it has to help them with their health problems, decreases trust in science, and it decreases their willingness to engage in behaviors that might protect their health, like eating less fat or eating more fruits and vegetables. So to counter that, we need to build trust and we need to sell science. So how do we go about doing that? There are 2 strategies I want to just point out to you because I think they hold a lot of promise and they're underutilized. One is two-sided refutational approach and hedging. So two-sided refutational approach, for those of you who work in communications, you're very familiar with this. We can have a one-sided communication where we talk about all the positives, like if you eat seafood, you're going to get all these great omega-3s. We've got the negative side, seafood loaded with methyl mercury, stay away from it. Or we can take a two-sided approach where we just describe those things, or we can take a two-sided refutational approach where we take the opposing view and we offer scientific facts to refute or neutralize that position. For example, yeah, seafood does contain methylmercury, but the amount is infinitesimally small. And if you follow the guidelines, you're going to have all these great benefits. Hedging is another technique that we use every time we write a scientific paper and we write the limitations part. But this is often overlooked, or almost always overlooked, in consumer communications, although we are starting to see it a little bit more. Last week, this study came out in Cell Host and Microbe, and it focused on the fact that probiotics that so many people are eating and taking to help improve their bowel health might evolve in the gut. Well, that's pretty scary when you think about it from a consumer who might not understand what's going on. A really great article followed just a few days later in Science Alert, and I think this author did a really awesome job in teaching about science and putting this and the scientific method and putting this story in context. Before we furiously flush our germ pills, there's a few things to keep in mind. This is a mouse study. As we all know, there's a leap of anatomy between these tiny mammals and humans. It's a good first step into research that might warrant investigation, but not an immediate cause for alarm. All right, so let's get back to this two-sided refutational and hedging techniques, why I think they're a promising techniques that we can try. One is the limited research that we have seems to indicate that they reduce skepticism, which then increases trust and credibility. Trust and credibility not only of the scientists reporting the research, but the journalist also who is reporting the research. And that increases the likelihood that people are going to engage in this behavior that you might be promoting. For nutritional sciences and most medical sciences, changing people's behavior is the goal of most of our messaging that we're putting out there. So that's what we're really all about, wanting people to do a little bit better, eat a little bit more healthfully so they can enjoy a healthier life. So in addition to that, we need to connect with our audience. And by that, we got to know their knowledge base, we got to know what their attitudes and behaviors are. What is it that drives them? What do they value? How do they define quality of life? And then, of course, we've got to have messages that resonate with them. In nutritional sciences, it's constant. People are telling us, I want to know what I can do. I want a positive message. Don't tell me all the things I can't eat. I want to know what I can eat. And tell me why. Tell me what it's going to do for me. And they want to know how to. We can't just give information and expect people to make these behavior changes. They have to know the steps. How are they going to get there? How are they going to do it? And then the last point here is pilot testing our messages. This is something, as scientists, I think we skip often. And if we don't pilot test our messages to find out if they resonate with consumers, we're never going to learn what does resonate with them and figure out how we can improve our messages. And if you ask them, they will tell you what they think. They will tell you if it makes sense, what doesn't make sense, does it fit in their value system, how, and then we can take that back to the lab, rework it, and come up with recommendations and communications that are going to be a lot more useful to them. And then finally, our ultimate test is, will the consumers use the accurate information that we're providing to live a healthier life? So I'll leave you with that thought.